welcome to Miss Annette's Little Farm in the Big City. Good morning. How are you? Beautiful morning this morning on the little farm. Actually, it's a little bit cooler than it has been lately. Hang on, I'm going to set you down. There you go. It's been a little bit cooler than it usually has been. And of course, August and cool weather makes me think about my fall garden. So I grabbed my seeds, I grabbed my garden journal, and I grabbed my computer to help me research what seeds I could plant. But before we get into what I'm going to be planting this year in my garden for fall, I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about some of the wins and some of the losses here on the little farm this summer. Let's go out to the garden and talk a little bit about what's some of the wins and losses we had here in the garden this year. I had a little bit of a problem here this year with some sort of disease that came in, and I'm not really even sure what kind of disease it is, but it really affected a lot of my plants. And I cut it out. I see this needs cut again, but I cut a lot of it out trying to isolate it so it wouldn't affect the other plants and my coneflowers. So let's look at this. These are my Kentucky beans. Yeah, I don't know what possessed me to grow them or why I wanted to grow them, but they're growing successfully, and I need to harvest. So they're doing well, and I put them on this trellis, but they are growing extremely well, and I need to keep cutting them back. And that goes with my sweet potato plants too. So all these plants here require a lot of space, and I don't really have a lot of space. So I thought they would grow on the fencing, and I think the placement. I think this pumpkin and the squash are fine right there. You can see that big squash growing. Are fine right there. But I just don't think this is really working for me. And I'm trying to be patient and not pull it all out. But I really want to do that. I just want to pull it out. I don't know. Now my little green beans down here are doing very well too. So that was a win. These little ones, these little bush beans. So it's starting to get to that time of year, harvest time. We gotta harvest things. I moved my tomato plants this year. They usually are over there where those onions are, and I moved them back a little bit, and I had a very successful tomato plant year. And I don't know whether it was weather or because I moved them, but I'm definitely going to put them in this spot next year. And as for my jalapeno, it just had one plant, and I get more fruit from it than I will ever possibly use this year. So that's great. Onions, not very successful. And I can see, and I have to write it in my journal, that the white onion did not do well, but the yellow onion really did well. Nice big yellow onions. And I'm going to be harvesting some, and I'm going to be pulling them out, and then I'm going to be planting something here. Strawberries. We didn't get any strawberries this year, which I didn't think we would, because I transplanted them in the fall last year. But they look like they're making a comeback, and I should probably have a really nice harvest next year. They're filling in really well. I've got little satellite strawberries growing here and there, so I'm very excited. I think that was very successful. I planted my blueberry bushes as well. These two are new, and this one is an old one. And I'm not sure. They were getting that little spot too. And I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is? please help me out with that and tell me in the comments. I don't know whether it's from the weather is so crazy this year in Indiana that I don't know. Some things really liked it and some things didn't. Now, my blackberry bushes are doing well. I'm going to be training them to go over this entrance, and hopefully I can keep the goats away from them. So that's what I'm working with. That looks like they're coming, and I should probably have some blackberries next year. That'll work out really great. Carrots did not come out very good this year, and I guess, well, it was an experiment to try to plant them in here, and I think I'm going to pull these all out and plant something different. This just didn't work out. That's okay. The Girl Scouts had fun planting them, and for some reason they have so many roots. I don't know why. It's not. Oh, there's a good one. 2 little good ones. Weird. Little baby carrots. All right. Well, that's another thing that didn't work out this year. The bees this year were okay, and I've gone in and checked on the hive, and it seems like they're doing okay, but activity like this does have me worried. But I keep checking in on them, and I think we're having a successful year. And I think later on this year, I'll be able to harvest a little bit of honey. Well, the herb garden didn't quite do as well as it has in years past. Well, my chamomile's hanging in there. I'm not sure about this bee balm, whether I like it here or not. It seems to be happy here. But I think maybe I should move it next year to this side. Oh, or that corner. I transplanted a lot of these things last year in the fall, and it was very successful. My daylilies are fine. My gladiolas came out fine. My phlox came back, but not very thick. That's okay. But my lavender, I think it has that, I don't know what that is that happened to those plants, but, and look here. This is fine. I need to take care of some things in here. I can see that. But look what happened here to my climbing hydrangea. And I'm not really sure if it's dead or not. I don't know if I should cut it all the way back. I just don't know what to do. Hydrangeas are just so troubling. But my other one has a few spots I can see here. see. And I'm trying to keep it from getting ill. The neighbor's fence. Okay. And the one thing I didn't get done, I wanted to put a new doorknob on this door, and that did not happen. Oh, goodness. Well, I better get busy. I am super pleased with this garden, but not everything really made it. And I hate to have to buy annuals to fill this up a little bit, but I will probably have to do that. I have some things that are growing well here and some things that are not. And one of the things that I really need to do is I need to mark everything so I know where it's at this fall when I'm planting my daffodils. So I'm going to plant a lot of daffodils in here. Alright, let's talk a little bit about the animals and some of the things that went really well with the animals and some of the things that didn't go so well. One of the things that didn't work out that was really kind of hard on me was that when we adopted the little ducklings last fall, I think it was, or the end of summer last year, we adopted 5 ducklings, and 3 of those ducklings were boys. And I kept them for a really long time and tried to keep them, but they were so aggressive, and they were all aggressive in their lovemaking, and they all loved little Gracie back there. So I just couldn't keep them, and that really was hard on me because I really was determined to keep them and give them a good home. But I did find a good home for the 3 boys, and I kept the girls. If you've been following me, you know that in the barn I put some sand down for the animals so that they could be, so it would make it easier for me to clean. On the chicken side, it has really helped me maintain their area nice and clean. On the goat side, not so much. And let me show you why. I'm not really even sure if it's the hay bag or what's going on, but I need to figure out a better solution to this because it's just such a waste. I mean, look at all this hay everywhere. And so I don't even know if the sand is helping or not, because they're just full of hay. And the problem with this is the chickens will come in here and they will lay eggs in this, and then it gets buried in there, and it's kind of frustrating. Well, the lawnmowers are coming, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I just wanted to go quickly through and show you some of the wins and losses. That's just common for people who, in my situation, you know, farmers or backyard gardeners. You're going to have some really good years, you're going to have some bad years, you're going to have some in-between years. I would rate this year as a good year. I think we did pretty well. We accomplished a lot of our goals, and now we have more goals. We have some other things that we're going to be doing this fall. I mean, fall's a really good time of year to do some of that heavy duty hard landscaping and things like that. And I have some ideas for some things that I need to do around here to make it a little more accessible for people with handicaps. So I'm going to be working on a couple of things like that. You know, I could take those losses that I had this year and really focus on those, and I could really feel bad about some of the things that didn't work out this year. But you know, instead of doing that, I take my losses and I use them as a learning experience. I use them as something to go look, reflect on, and say, well, what did I do and how could I make that better? How could I have fixed that? How could I have not made that mistake? What can I do to make it better next time? Or I won't do that again. You know, that's how I take those losses. And I think that's a good way to do it. Attitude helps you a lot. You know, someone said to me, life is 10% what happens to you, 90% of how you deal with it. And I like to deal with things with a thoughtful perspective, optimistic, and hopeful. Anyway, thank you for visiting me here on Miss Annette's Little Farm in the Big City. I sure love it when you're around. Thank you so much. Try to get outside today if you can. Don't forget your sunscreen. And we'll see you next time. Bye.